Hello, welcome to Cal Conversations. I'm Beth Hadfield, the Activities Coordinator at the Center for Active Living. Today, I have the pleasure of being here with our brand new director, Cheryl Jones. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me, Beth.
It's a pleasure, and it's been very exciting to work with you these last few weeks side by side. I'd like to start with, can you tell everybody a little bit about your background, and then we'll move things along?
Yeah, sure. I've been in the wellness industry, if you will, for 40 years. So 4 decades of helping people to be healthy and well in all areas of life, whether that's social wellness, physical fitness, emotional and mental well-being, really addressing the whole person.
Which we do every day at the Senior Center, don't we? And
absolutely.
Every aspect. So how did you end up coming to Cal? Your relationship with us started a couple of years ago, but I don't remember how many. Do you?
So I think it's about 3 years, because I've been in Plymouth for about 3.5 years, and I came here to be with a person who I actually married last summer. And Plymouth was always on my radar for a place that I thought would be a great place to retire. So I feel like it was like kind of a blessing that I ended up actually meeting somebody who's, lives here. And that's what brought me to Plymouth. But I thought, what would be a great way to find my place in this new community? And so I opened up a business called Thrive 55 Plus Wellness, and I was located in the Plymouth Post Office building. And through that, had met a number of people in the Plymouth area Chamber of Commerce. And that's how I met Michelle Brady and a whole bunch of other people who miraculously, I say, I am now working with in this role. So it's kind of amazing how life works.
Very amazing. You were for the last 2 years, you sat on the panel at the senior conference that our center put on. When you did that panel, what was your role on that panel?
Yeah, it's really exciting. The first year, I was invited by Michelle to lead a short meditation, a short mindfulness practice for participants, for everyone who attended the conference. And then this past year, I was on a panel, and that was really sharing how can people age well. What does healthy aging look like? What is creating a sense of well-being as we age? What does that look like? And so I was sharing information, tips, and practical strategies that the attendees could embrace to feel a greater sense of peace and fulfillment and joy in the aging process.
And now you're running the Center for Active Living, and what a perfect transition from what you were doing to what you are doing now. So it's been a few weeks since you've been the director at Cal, and what can you share with us? Have you learned some things? Have you really thought about the direction you would like to see things go? How has it been?
It's a great question, and I can say that every day that I am on my drive to and from Cal, it's truly such a joyful commute because I'm so grateful and excited for everything that's happening at Cal. And I think starts with Michelle Brady's leadership for so many years and coming into a situation where even though she is now the Commissioner of Health and Human Services, she's still available to guide and coach me. And the team at Cal, coming into a situation where there's already an intact team of professionals who are doing great work every day. And the volunteers, the 300 plus volunteers that we have who are so vital to our operations and our reputation at Cal. So I'm really learning how Cal works and spending time every day, going out into the different programs and activities that you coordinate and meeting people and introducing myself and enjoying that process of meeting people and learning, about our patrons. Everyone has such interesting histories and life stories and reasons why they're at Cal. So just getting to know people, the whole thing has been truly such a joyful process.
Are you finding, and I didn't think about this till just now, but are you finding that we did put your picture out there? We put it out there in an email and then in the newsletter. Are you finding that people stop you and say, are you the new director, and want to chat?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes both ways. It's sometimes people will recognize me. Sometimes I'll just be talking to them and they won't realize till the end of the conversation when I introduce myself that, we've been chatting and they didn't realize it. So it's kind of fun just to get to know people.
Yeah.
And so it's been really just such a welcoming experience.
And we have a lot of people to get to know. Like through my senior center, we have 10,000 plus members. Now, we might not see all of them every day, but we definitely see large numbers of people, on a very regular basis.
I think that's the beauty of Cal, that there is truly something for everyone. It's there, whatever the interest is, whatever your personality is, whatever your comfort level is. Some people like, small, intimate opportunities to connect with each other. Some people like to be in big, lively groups. And I think that's, part of the strength of our offerings is that we have a variety of different kinds of experiences that allow people to engage in the ways that are meaningful to them.
So sticking with what you are saying, you have presented to the team that we would like to have a theme for 2026. Do you want to share our theme and maybe some ideas?
Sure. I mean, I like to, my style of leadership is very collaborative. So I came up with 3 titles for potential themes. And, as you know, we all as a team, voted. Everybody
Right.
got to pick their favorite title. And then something really interesting came up in a meeting with our marketing committee around the importance of building and cultivating connection. And so I ended up taking the 2 top themes and weaving them together. So our theme for Cal for 2026 is going to be live vibrantly, build connection, so that will permeate through everything we do. All of our programs and offerings will align to that. How do we live vibrantly, and what does it mean to build meaningful connection with each other?
In that marketing committee, we did have a lot of discussion about connection, and it is 100% a common theme that we see throughout each day at Cal. there are people that strictly come because they want to spend time with other people, and it's the easiest, most comfortable place where you can get a meal and coffee and conversation all in the same stop.
Yeah, and sometimes people, we're all different on any given day, just like our mood changes. So, we'll see, as it's so joyful to see somebody sitting quietly, either by themselves or maybe with somebody else working on a puzzle.
Yeah.
So maybe you're having a quiet day and you just want to have lunch and work on a puzzle, and be surrounded by people, but not necessarily engaged. So that's okay. Or maybe you're in the mood where you're feeling a sense of loss and you want to be able to go in and, be in a supported environment. We have a variety of different support groups, or maybe there's something specific that you're dealing with. So I love that we have the work by yourself, and enjoy the support of a group, something super lively if you want to, sing or play a musical instrument or attend one of our big, festive events. We really do have something for everyone, but also something for what your mood is and what you need that day, because as we all know, our needs change on a given day. So people get to choose what feels appropriate for them on any given day.
And that's so true, because although the building is always busy, the parking lot, cars are constantly coming and going, you're 100% right. There are those events that, encourage discussion and talking. And then there are other events, if you just want to sit and enjoy and not converse, you don't have to. So we're very, very lucky. Are you starting to learn and understand the needs of our community? And is it different than what you originally thought it might be? Or is it pretty much the same?
It's interesting. I feel like I've worked in a variety of sectors. I've been an entrepreneur. I've had my own brick and mortar businesses. I've worked in corporate America. I've worked in educational institutions. This is the first time that I've worked in, a COA and worked with older adults in this capacity. Of course, in my business and coaching, I was focused on coaching people over 55. But this is a new environment for me. And so I really didn't have an expectation, but what I'm learning is the openness, and I want to make myself open to people. And I think the best way that I am going to learn is through the coffee sessions, the coffee with the directors that we're going to be kicking off in January. And the first one will be on January 14th at 9 a.m. in the Cal Cafe. And also I have an idea that, we've talked about to offer these monthly 90-minute conversations. And I think we'll keep in alignment with our theme for the year. So we'll call them the Live Vibrantly conversations, and that will be a different kind of an experience. So the coffee is for people to kind of come and share their thoughts and suggestions, and we can have questions and answers, that kind of an engagement. But the Live Vibrantly conversations are more, how do we do that? So I get to capitalize on my coaching skills and facilitate a group conversation. And that will change, month to month, but create a different kind of experience, a different kind of space for people to come in and really look at their own personal growth. What does living vibrantly look like for the people in the group? And then how do we, month over month, encourage, kind of move the needle to living more the way that we mean to live as we're in this chapter of life?
I'm very excited. You and I have been talking about this and going back and forth. But in talking about that, it's not going to be a group for like 40 or 50 people. It's definitely going to be a smaller group so that there can be an exchange of thoughts and ideas so everybody can feel valued and heard, right?
Yeah, I think more intimate, and then we'll just see where it goes. Again, as you had first asked, it's about, keeping our fingers on the pulse of what are the experiences that people are finding to be helpful and meaningful. And along that line, we are in the process of doing our survey. We're doing a survey both electronically, so people have received that email with the link to complete the survey. We've also put paper copies throughout Cal so that people can complete the survey that way. So we will be spending a good amount of time in January assimilating and interpolating all of that information that we have and will continue to receive over the next week or so from our Cal patrons and volunteers, so that we can really make sure that whatever we're doing in the new year is completely aligned with what people's needs are.
And everybody is very free about sharing how they feel and what they think. So I do suspect that when you do your coffee with the director, that you'll hear a lot of what people are looking for. Even though we're doing the survey and, it's all falling literally in the perfect time, the start of the new year and everything, our patrons are very free to share how they think and feel, which is really great. And how we take it all in and figure it out is, how we continue to grow and change as a community.
Ever evolving. Yes. And the great news is that I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for all of the great work that has been done for many, many years in the strong foundation. And so to me, I see my role as to help Cal to continue to evolve.
And evolving we are. Do you have a favorite part of the job so far? I mean, I know it's all so new, but is there one particular thing or something you do each day that brings you more joy than other things?
It's interesting. I think for me, maybe what it is the theme of helping people to grow. And that could be, within our team. I have conversations every day with all of the people that are on our Cal staff, and understanding, what people are doing and, helping them find new ways to grow in the work that they're doing. Same thing, with our patrons and our programs. So like when we look at our programming, I'm always thinking about how does this help individuals to create well-being in a meaningful way for them. So I guess if I would have to say, what is my favorite thing about this role, it is helping myself and my team and everyone who comes to Cal grow in perhaps some new and unexpected way.
I think that's wonderful. I know just for me, when we start our team meeting, we all take a minute to enjoy the space we're in because we're all sitting down for a second. And I've really noticed what a difference it makes. So it's just wonderful. So we also talked behind the scenes about you possibly doing a Zoom mindfulness. Do you think that's still in the works? And maybe when do you think we might put that forward?
Yeah, thank you for remembering that. We talk about a lot of
things.
Very important things every day, and I do think that Zoom mindfulness session is going to be very important because we know a lot of our patrons are housebound. And so we want to be able to, in the spirit of providing a service for everyone, we recognize that, there's a lot of meaning and purpose to coming to Cal.
Right.
But if people are not able to come to Cal, then this Zoom mindfulness session, and we might not even call it that.
I know.
But maybe it's like the Live Vibrantly, virtual version. So we're still incubating these ideas, but for 100%, we are committed to doing something. I am committed to doing something virtually, some kind of a monthly session for people via Zoom, so we can continue those conversations and come up with, what will be super meaningful for people, and also use the data that we get from the survey results to sort of inspire what topics would be meaningful. So what I'm picturing is, take a topic, do a little bit of mindfulness, meditation, have a little conversation so that it is a meaningful, interactive experience for whoever is participating.
I think that's great. And having done what I do for a long time, I really feel like we'll get interaction from that. And, we'll have to be mindful of how we advertise it, because we do want to share it with people who aren't possibly coming in, so they do have a point in their week where there's a little bit more interaction for them.
Mm-hmm.
There might be an educational learning curve in that too, which we see a lot in a lot of things we do, but we will navigate and figure it out.
Yeah. We're ever evolving.
Yes, but it's true. We talk about so many different things in the course of a day that, I don't know about you, but if I'm not taking notes on every single conversation, I can't remember all of the details.
Yeah, I think that's our learning curve together is, I think whenever somebody new comes into the group, that, we're exploring a lot of capitalizing again on all of the strengths that everyone has and all of the amazing work that's been done for so many years to get to this point. And also, what I bring is an outside lens, because I didn't know anything really 6 weeks ago other than I had watched Michelle Brady from a distance and thought she was such an inspiring person. And now that I'm on the inside, there is a lot to learn. So I think that's it. Like, we're going to pace ourselves and we're going to grow at a pace that feels appropriate. And I'm all about, mapping that out and having it be, a gentle evolving process.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, I think, we have begun to see some changes in scheduling and events happening at the center, but I think with your guidance and our Live Vibrantly, Build Connection theme, I think we are going in a really good direction for people. And it is odd how things just come up about different things and building connections, because like I do an LGBT group once a month, and we went around the room and I was like, okay, why are you here? What do you hope to, get out of the group? And 100% it was making new friends to be able to go out and do things. So.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting because the word connection has been used a lot, post-COVID,
Yes.
right? And so to me, connection is the opportunity to turn to the person next to you, look across the table, and have a meaningful question that perhaps you explore together, or just a quiet exchange. So that facilitation and cultivating connection is going to be, I think, a really fun thing for us to explore, because a lot of times we think, especially when we're in big groups, that, the focus might be on the presenter, the person who is the educator. This is connection. True connection is a little bit different. It's a balance of coming to learn, but also that person to person with the other people in the group. And so this is going to be a little bit new and fun and different for us. And it'll be an opportunity for us to grow in understanding, how do we as human beings truly cultivate those connections while they're experiencing a program at Cal, so that they feel like they have a friend that they may get together and do something with outside of Cal. That's really our mission this year.
You honestly, we chat a lot. We're coworkers, but every time we have a conversation, you educate me in a different direction. And you just did it just now, because we were talking about connections. And in my mind, I think it's people being with people. But that's really not what it's all about, because you just talked about it's not just being in the room with someone else, but it's being able to have that conversation with someone else. And I don't know that I look at things different than other people, and I know that, but I hadn't thought about it like that. So
as a society, we don't think about that. And that's why people have said you can be in a group and still feel lonely.
Yes.
So loneliness is not something that comes from being alone. You can be alone and feel perfectly connected. To whom? Yourself. So it's this interesting kind of dance between being able to be alone and feeling connected to yourself and something greater than yourself. You can be in a group of people and be developing that skill of what does it actually mean to have a meaningful connection with another human being. So these are skills that most of us have not really learned about in life. And so I think this is, again, going to be our growing edge and a lot of fun conversations around connection in the new year.
All right. So our time together is coming to an end. I know we will sit in these seats again and talk about things in the future. Remind everyone the day and date for your coffee with the director.
So that will be Wednesday, January 14th at 9 a.m. in the Cal Cafe.
Awesome, awesome. And we have another group people can look for, the Live Vibrantly conversations with you.
Yes, so that'll be coming up. We're still working on dates for that, but it will be a monthly experience, a different kind of a 90-minute come together, more intimate experience where we really focus on how we want to grow and thrive and live vibrantly.
I love it. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. And thank you for coming and listening today. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.